Welcome, everyone, to Talk Louisville. I'm Mike and Kellye.
I'm Kellye Duckworth.
How was your weekend?
It was good.
I know. We got a lot done.
We did. You got a lot done. Mike power seeded my yard this weekend, so
nice.
She's our neighbor.
it's nice to have a neighbor. Yeah,
That's a good neighbor to have.
I know.
Yeah.
I've turned into the grandpa that does stuff for him, so it's
That was
works.
nice. I know. I just got to watch and supervise, but
The house next door to us just came up for sale if you want to buy it.
I know, right?
Yeah, there you
Power
go.
seed our yard.
I know. It's been nice so far.
Well, today we have some special guests, Lauren and Matt Kirchgessner. Did I say the name right?
You did.
I'm sure everybody butchers that name, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, they destroy my name as well, Mulrooney, and to me, mine's and yours is the same.
Sounds
It pronounces
correct.
exactly the way it's spelled.
Yep.
If anybody's not familiar with the Addie and Baylor Foundation, what an incredible organization under horrible circumstances.
Thank you.
And I know a little bit about the story, but would y'all kind of share what happened? I mean, I know it's probably still raw.
Yeah, we were on December 4th of 2020, during COVID and everything. The kids were learning remotely. So we were able to go down and, kind of be hanging out down at the beach for a little while. And it was the last day we were there, and we were playing putt-putt. And a truck veered off the road and struck and killed Addie and Baylor.
Yeah.
So from that point, obviously, we're going from having the best time of our lives, everything's perfect, to just everything's awful. The worst tragedy that we could ever imagine. But during that time, her sister set up a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe brought in almost $250,000.
Yeah, I remember that. It was huge.
It was nuts.
That means you all know a lot of people and have impacted a lot of people.
Yeah, well, that, and then unfortunately, the story made national news. It was in People and all that good.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, we had donations from all over the world.
Oh my gosh.
That came in for that, and we just knew that wasn't our money. We needed to do something with that. So we took that, and we were probably 4 or 5 days before we got back home.
Yes.
And before we even got back, the foundation was already in motion.
Yeah, I had heard, I don't know if you mentioned it at the gala we went to this past year, but it was basically you all knew you wanted to do something to help change lives.
Absolutely.
Which is pretty incredible.
Yeah. Addie and Baylor, they were gonna make an impact. And so we got all that started. We're lucky Lauren's from a big South End Catholic family, and has a lot of people that have talents that we've been able to help us out. But yeah, when we got back, it was rolling. And then a close friend of mine, Brent Rogers, at Kids Visitation, I was just telling him, hey, I'm going to need your help. So Brent produces events, and it's like, hey, I'm going to need you. And he talked about that it was their legacy. And that's something that's just kind of stuck. And this is their legacy. You always think your kids are going to do a lot and make an impact, and they are. They're just doing it through us and doing it through the foundation.
What were some of the kids when they were little? I mean, obviously, how old were they?
4 and 6.
So they weren't old enough to say, I want to be an astronaut or something one day.
I don't know. Baylor was.
He wanted to be a firefighter or a
golfer like his dad.
golfer like his daddy.
Yeah. You a pro golfer?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a
I
PGA
suck,
member.
so that's
we have a golf course, and
Professional is used lightly. No.
yeah, but that was actually Baylor star student at preschool, and that's probably one of the last pictures probably taken of him. And yeah, he wanted to be a firefighter and a golfer like his daddy. And I was telling him, I said, buddy, the firefighter is a better way to go.
Oh yeah.
Golfing is pro sports in general is what, 1 in 100 million or something
It's
like
hard.
that opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not on that end of it. So I used to try and play, but now we just have the course and just
Which course is it?
It's Elk Run Golf Course.
Oh,
Really?
Okay. My husband actually just texted me and said, "Can I go golfing after work today?"
Well, there you go.
Tell him to come
over.
on over.
At least he asked permission.
I know.
Well, because when the new baby comes, you're not going to be
No.
allowing that.
No.
Because golf isn't just a 2-hour thing.
No.
It's an
No.
all day. It's an
No.
all day adventure.
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
don't play a lot more. So there's a difference between a golf professional and a professional golfer.
Yeah.
I am a golf professional.
Okay.
So,
Well, you're still better than me, I guarantee.
so expensive too, though.
Yes, but
I think it's one of the most expensive sports. or hobbies,
It's like
whatever.
anything else. It can be as expensive.
Oh
or
my gosh.
as expensive or inexpensive as you want it to be.
Wait till Avery gets into dance and
Yeah.
you want to talk expensive.
Yeah.
Those dress. We might put plenty of dresses back there. You might want to stock
Oh
up.
yeah, thank you. 18
Just don't
years.
even introduce her to that. Addie was a dancer, and it
Ugh.
was something else.
It was fun though. She enjoyed
She
it.
loved it.
Yeah, obviously, I think you probably know my middle daughter's name is Addie, so
Yes.
we have that connection. Obviously, I don't want to harp on what happened, but how did y'all get through that? Do you have pretty strong faith? Did you go through some sort of counseling? Because other people are in your not as drastic as their situation, but they, people need some help to get through something like that.
I think the faith thing was a little stronger for me than it was for Matt.
Mhm.
But we went through some extensive counseling.
I bet.
We still do on a weekly basis. It's just something that helps us. It's a non-opinionated person to kind of talk through things with,
Yeah.
I just don't. I can't even really process it. Like I just look at you guys and I'm just like, oh, they're just another, But it's just you think about that. And
She's the strong one. I'll never forget it.
it was that night, right? Didn't she say something about
You have
that
to,
night,
yeah.
that was at
we-
the gala?
we had-
I think
we had the
you said
chaplain
that.
with us because we were down there at that time. It was at that point, it's just us. And we went back to the condo, and my parents and her parents were on their way down, and the chaplain left. There was probably about an hour or two there that it was just us. And she just looked at me and she goes, "We can't let this come between us. We have
Yeah.
to stay strong. If we're not strong and we let this come between us, that doesn't do justice to the kids."
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's kind of where all this, she's the strength of everything.
Well, I think you just learn to grieve, and people are going to grieve
Grieve
differently.
That's been
Differently, it's
huge.
been the big thing with us. Just knowing that the way I grieve is going to be different from how he grieves. The timeline on how we move forward with things were different. Just understanding each other in that type of way.
Yeah, and they told us, that it's okay. Well, one, it was okay not to be okay. It was all right. People always ask you, how are you? And your reaction, even if you're having a bad day, is generally, oh yeah, things
It's
are good.
okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay to tell people, hey, this is, no, I'm not good. It's not a good day. I'm not good.
Most people can't admit that, though.
No, but you have to learn that. And even just that we grieve, the biggest thing was that we grieve differently. I mean, even to this day, there are things that I can't do that she can. I mean, she's been, when we go back down to Panama City, it's still hard for me to go. The only reason I go is because she goes and she wants me down there. We do something for the foundation down there. She's been to the site. She's been past it. She's, and when I go there, I can't get close to it.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, there's even just the fight that she's had with, to bring justice with the kids, when it comes to the criminal aspect,
It's been horrible.
of it has been horrible. But where we've got is because of the push that she's had, and we're still pushing. Things are still.
So do you have
not
to go to
resolved.
Florida to fight with all of this?
Not as much.
Not as much.
Our attorney is in Florida.
Okay.
And so he pretty much now fights that battle for us.
Gotcha.
But in the beginning, when we were struggling with finding an attorney and Florida laws were just,
They are terrible, and
they're horrible.
and we're going to have things to where we'll have to deal with, hopefully get some legislation pushed. So God forbid something like this ever happened to someone
And it really
else.
makes you second guess, like Poppy, I'm never going to let her do anything risky in Florida because parasailing, because if something were to happen, Florida would be like, sorry.
Oh no.
I mean, there's so many laws that protect
The criminal
pretty much.
or the person that does wrong.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
it sounds like Louisville for some reason. So was it a criminal thing? I'd heard multiple stories.
It's still out there. I mean, they
Just don't know.
Well, we
Yeah,
can kind of talk about it a little bit. I mean, it's
We don't have to. I was just curious.
What's public that's out there is that the state attorney, which is basically like a DA here, just a different title, basically cleared him. But we have a push.
cleared him to drive.
No, cleared him of charges.
in
That they
charges,
weren't going to pursue any charges. Our attorney kind of pushed on some things medically, on medical malpractice and things like that, to where because he had roughly 5 or 6 accidents prior to.
So he should have never been driving to begin with.
Absolutely not.
He is not an epileptic. He has seizures because he's an alcoholic.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
huge difference. And that's what we are fighting against, is that he only has seizures because he drinks, not because he was born that
Right.
way.
That's a total different ballgame.
And it was looked at as that moment in time he had taken his you know, we probably don't need to get too far
Yeah.
down.
No, I was just curious.
But yeah, but it's still an ongoing. We're still fighting. We don't know, you know, what we're going to, you know, what's going to be able to happen, but we're going to continue to fight. And like I said, the next step down there will be for legislation, because there's been things that we haven't been able to get, that even the state attorney wasn't able to get, that the DMV said, no,
Like that's protected.
it's
Like
protected. So, you know, there's things that we can, that will hopefully get changed again. So this doesn't happen to anyone else.
and like we
If it
call it
does-
all the time. Like I don't call it an accident because I truly don't believe it was. I
Mhm.
think it was totally preventable by someone. So I've started calling it an incident, just because an accident to me is something like you had no idea this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And to me, like he knew, like every time he got behind the wheel, that
He was
this was a
risking-
possibility.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's another foundation, you know who I'm talking about. They have to be careful with the words they use too,
Yeah.
all because of what happens.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So this happens, horrible, and you all decided to do something positive under Addie and Baylor's name.
Mhm.
So you created a foundation. What is it you all do? Were they big readers, I guess?
Well, I was a school teacher.
Okay.
And so I was for 18 years. And so reading I knew was super important. So we read to them every single night. He read to Addie, I read to Baylor.
We did too.
Yep. Every night. Our little one, Poppy.
I was gonna say you probably read to her now
we
too.
try something else with her. She's a different
But she
breed.
does love books.
She
Like,
loves
she does love
books.
books.
She loves books.
She just don't like to be contained.
That's so
she
funny.
So reading was always huge in our family. And so when we were thinking of something that we could do, we were like, oh gosh, you know, books. And being a teacher, I saw every single year, like kids would go to those book fairs and not everybody could shop. You know, as a teacher, I'd be like, raise your hand if you have money today. Okay, you can go to the book fair. And then the rest of us just sat there.
Oh my gosh.
And that was always heartbreaking. And then as a teacher, the last day, whoever didn't have a book, I was using my own money to make sure the kids that didn't get to shop got to shop. So that was what really started it. I was like, we could host these book fairs at schools so then everybody could get a book. No one felt left out. And that was huge to me. It was like the book factor was big, but also like inclusiveness. Like I
Mhm.
wanted everyone to feel like included, like that they were part of the classroom, that they were part of this school community. And sometimes your book fairs, especially as kids get older, kids start to notice like, oh, so-and-so didn't bring money, you know, like that type.
Oh, yeah, they pay attention. We
Thank
feed kids every week now. If you know, we feed about 3,000 kids every Friday because there's kids that have no money for
Yeah.
food, which just kills me. I you know, they go home on the weekends. But, you know, reading is huge. I didn't have books at my house.
So
Never
Me
did.
neither.
that was-
I didn't eat. I'd go to the library just because I had to. I'd check out all these books, but I never opened one of them. But all three of my kids, I hate to say it, but I think they're borderline genius because we started. I mean, I'm sorry to brag, but
No.
they're freaking smart.
Yeah.
But it's because they started. My wife was a teacher; she retired, but she knew the value of reading, and I didn't get it as a kid.
I didn't.
I'm lucky to have graduated high school, to be honest. But reading is huge. I mean, and I think you are doing, what is it, Dolly Parton in Tennessee aren't you all trying to do something like that now?
We have started that. Well, we've partnered with Dolly Parton Imagination Library here in Louisville.
Okay.
We cover a couple months of their books. But with that, we've done book fairs at schools in Panama City and in the area, and we're just like, man, how can we do this? So we looked up that they didn't have an Imagination Library in Bay County. So we started
wow.
Bay County Imagination Library.
Cool.
Started that in December.
Mhm.
We already have almost 2,000 kids that are
Oh my
signed up.
gosh.
So that's been great. It's like, okay, let's start this, you know, because at some point we're going to run out of schools in Bay County and
Yeah,
in that
It's not
area.
that huge.
And this is something that we can always, and we were lucky enough to have St. Joe Foundation, St. Joe Paper Company there, their foundation help support us also.
So we say 2,000 kids signed up. So 2,000 kids will get a book every month, every year, every what?
month.
Really?
It's from birth to 5 years old.
Okay.
So actually in their hospitals down there, I have brochures. So when the mom gives birth, she automatically fills out the paperwork. So then the newborn will get the book the next month.
Yeah.
How many kids can you take on? I mean, that's a lot to raise.
It is.
The more we take on, the more money we have to have.
I know.
And that is one thing to where
It's hard to raise money. I guess my
It is
point.
hard
it
to
is, but we, as terrible as our lives have been for the last 4.5 years, the foundation has been fortunate to have people like you all and other connections that we've had, and just even people that we don't know that have supported the foundation. The support that the foundation has received has been unbelievable, and that's why we've been able to do what we've been able to do so quickly.
Absolutely.
Is through that. So
Was it you all that redid the library at Notre Dame Academy and a
We
few
did.
different places? Y'all have done that a few times as well. Are you
have.
still
Wow.
doing that, or are you focusing more on books?
No, we love to do library renovations. We did St. Lawrence. We did their preschool renovation,
Right.
and then we did Notre Dame's library renovation and their playground renovation.
It looks
So,
amazing, by the way.
Thank you. No, that's something that I love. And I love when people reach out to us and they're like,
Mhm.
hey, like, we need help with this, or can we do that? We've had a JCPS school, a special needs school, that have reached out to us, and they're like, Scholastic won't let us do a book fair because our kids are such high need. Like, they just don't have those types of books.
What
and
school?
so, Churchill Park.
We did. That's funny. We bought all the iPad technology they needed so
That's
those
awesome.
kids that are nonverbal could speak.
Yeah.
And it rips your heart out to sit there and watch these kids finally
I
be
know.
able to communicate, But are they able to read, some of them, or?
Well, I think it's more on like those tablet things. I think there's probably books that go on those that read to them.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. I said, this is not my specialty. Like, so we just gave them money to be like, purchase what you need.
Right, what you need.
Yeah, we still have to get
By
this.
But we, with the foundation, it's, it started out, books will always be the pillar.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always, it's kind of, we got to a point, it's about a year or so ago, we looked at you guys, how you all started the cancer, that was how you started.
Yeah, yeah.
And what you've grown to be, and in so many more areas. And that's to where we're, between our partnership with the First Tee Louisville and the First Tee Indiana, with the libraries, and just to where if we have something that comes across us that can impact a child's life and make a child's life better, then we want to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
The books is,
That's your core mission.
that's
Yeah.
the core.
Yeah.
But we don't want to be pigeonholed to that. We
No.
want to be able to, when someone comes up to us and just says, hey, I know somebody that they need this. Or
Mhm.
they, I had someone come up to me, is actually someone that I grew up with that, I haven't told you about this yet, but child was hit by a car. They survived, but it's like, just tell me what they need. And they said something about books. I'm like, no, tell me what they need.
Mhm.
Right.
We're not just books.
Right.
We're many other, trying to grow many other things, but keeping it to kids and making that impact on kids that need help. When we go into these schools, we're not going into, we're not going to Margaret Mary, or no offense to any of that there, but those aren't in need.
Yeah.
The schools we're going to are in need schools. And when you see those kids light up when they get those books,
It is
it's
fun.
like, oh, do I have to bring these back?
You can't put into words.
You can't. And you're like, no, you get to keep them and take them home.
Well, and even when we were at Stone Street and
Yeah.
me and Jenny went and helped that one day, some of the kids were buying books for their younger siblings, which I thought was so sweet. Because I'm like, these are 6, 7, 8-year-old little kids that are thinking of their siblings at home that don't have books either, So that was.
And Lauren was this school thing. This is her world.
Mhm.
Me, this is all still new. So I'll say something. I mean, even when we go into some of these schools, and like a lot of the kids, elementary kids, they're wanting to hold Poppy, and I'm like, no. And Lauren's like,
fine.
I was like, are you kidding me? She said they have 2 or 3 other siblings at home
That they're
and
taking care of.
Right.
They're probably
Yeah.
helping raise that.
Oh, I
Yes.
guarantee it.
Yeah.
Yes, and
You'd be, and you probably know this, but there's probably 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds that are raising kids
Absolutely.
because mom and dad's not around.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
And the general public doesn't understand that's where we're at in this world.
yeah, and it's just been just so eye opening just to see.
Mhm.
One, for me, you see everybody, oh, kids are in their iPads and this, and they don't read. How many kids, when you say, oh, do you read a lot? Oh, yeah. And they're
Mhm.
trying to complete their series of, Junie B or
Dogman
or
or-
something like that. Like, to me, it's been like, oh man, this kids really do still read.
And Matt is
Mhm.
funny. So like go into schools. We have all the books, and kids know what they want. I mean, they want the graphic novels. They come in asking for certain titles. If we run out of that title, Matt is the one that'll go to Walmart or Target and repurchase it. And I'm like, Matt.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I got the same thing.
They can't get what they want, and that's what we're doing. That's where now we're starting to.
Now we're getting a little smarter when we order the books.
I was going to say, how do you know which ones to get? Do teachers tell you what is popular? I have quite a few friends that are still in education, so I'll reach out and be like, okay, like what are the series like kids are begging for? And so that's kind of where we go from there. The little ones aren't as much, but like your 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, they come in and they're like, I want this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they know what they want. But the little kids, the little ones, it's like, do you like doggies?
Yeah.
I love dog. Oh, here. Do you like princesses?
Or they're like, does that have a necklace with it?
I know. There's like jewelry and everything with them. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
We've had to start telling, we've been doing the book fairs partnering with Scholastic. So we kind of had to tell them, okay, let's not do that.
Less jewelry. Or
like the little Lego people. Like,
yeah.
And I'm sure you've obviously done your research, but where do you get them through Scholastic? Are they giving you like a major discount, or what are they doing?
So, yeah.
I remember the Scholastic sheets when I was a kid. I'd order them, but I never read them. I'm sorry. But
I mean, it's a normal. I mean, they bring in all the books, everything. And they give us a little bit of special pricing, but actually we've run into some issues with them to where we wanted to do it at a school we know is a need. Like her uncle's from Todd County, and we wanted to go down. Todd County's not the
Todd County. Where's that?
All the way down back.
I've never heard of Todd County.
Clarksville.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Right
on
there,
the Kentucky border.
Okay.
Yeah, and Todd County's not the most wealthy county in the state. And we wanted to go down. They have 2 elementary schools, and we both know Lauren knows everything, Title I and this and that, and they told us no. And basically, we got it down to they started to say, well, they're not a Title I or free and reduced or this and that. And Lauren, she just no, they are. They're this. And finally, they told us, well, they have a successful book fair during the year, so we don't want you to go into that school. It's like, okay,
so they're making money off their book fair.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's you don't know. But that doesn't mean that the school's not in need, because you could have teachers paying for kids. I mean, you could have
that happens a lot.
It happens a whole lot. And so that's where we've been fortunate enough to where the local sheet metal workers and their apprentices are making us bookshelves.
Just like the Scholastic ones, like the metal ones that close up.
On wheels?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it'll be just like
y'all have a van or anything yet you can run around?
We're going to have a trailer, and we'll get it all, wrapped.
Cool.
All that good stuff. And
that's cool.
I'll drag it around to where now we can go in whatever school that we want. And we don't have to ask someone's permission.
No strings attached to it. Yeah, that's awesome.
What kind of started this was we partnered with J.D. Shelburne, a country music singer. He's from Taylorsville. And J.D.'s done some concerts and things with us and has become a friend. And we just, he's big on giving back to Taylorsville. And it's like, hey, man, let's partner with you and do a book fair in Taylorsville. And his mom actually taught in the school that we did it. And I reached out to his class and said, hey, we're going to do a book fair here. And they said, no, you're not. I'm like, okay. So that's the first one we did on our own.
What, they legally can stop you from having a book fair at a school?
Well, they see we couldn't do it through them.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. We'll do it ourselves.
So we just did it ourselves. So now we're going to work to where, with the golf course, the basement is
unfinished,
10,000 square feet unfinished. And so we'll just house all the books there, stockpile the books there, have them delivered. And
that's awesome.
Our house turning into a book warehouse. We always have people who want to volunteer like you guys do to help. And, they can sticker the books. And we're just going to do this on our own. And
I'd always wanted to open a store with free food.
Oh, that'd be cool.
How cool would it be to have food and books all in one spot? You can go in and you can get so many a month or something like that.
Yep.
Something to think about one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was, I'll let you had it.
Which one? The West? The West End Hospital. So we toured there because I was thinking because it's everything down there. If you all haven't been, it's an amazing place.
The one Norton's just built?
Yes. Okay. I mean, there's a food pantry there. There's the Goodwill there. It's everything. It's more than just like your hospital. So I thought, well, how cool would it be if we could set up a do some computers where parents could hop on, pay bills, whatever they need to do, but then also have places where kids could take a book. So we went down there and toured, and they didn't really have the space for what I was imagining. But they do have their Dare to Care food bank there that parents come in and they shop the food bank. And so we're going to start placing books there. So when their kids come with them, they can grab a book, that type of thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But that place was a really cool place.
It was cool.
I need to go down there and
there's a
enjoy
place
it.
in our neighborhood that I don't know if you've ever walked that far back in the neighborhood, but it's like a neighbor, and she just has a little box in the front.
Yeah.
You put a book in and take a book out.
Really?
Oh, I've seen that in neighborhoods. We have one in the neighborhood.
I think
know
that's
that.
so
See,
cute.
that's where, because I asked you when you're traveling, there's a couple you see them all over the country.
Yeah, I just thought it was so cool. I was
Yeah.
like,
They're
What do they
almost kind
call
of built
them?
up like a little house.
Yeah,
type
it looks like
thing.
a
But it's
big
food,
It's
though,
like a
right?
mailbox. No,
No,
it's
these
no,
have
it's books.
I've always seen the food ones.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
So
you
yeah,
put
it's like
books
a
in, take
book
books
pantry.
I've
out.
seen food ones too.
Oh, I've never seen a food one. That's
Mhm.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, you put a book in, take a book out.
Yep.
And then when you're done,
And I don't
bring
know
it
if
back.
have you ever been to Glowworm with your little one?
Yes.
Okay, they do that
Love
with
Glowworm.
baby formula.
What is Glowworm?
Really? It's like a little play cafe.
Where the parents sit around, drink coffee, and
Yeah.
the kids go play.
Coffee
It's
or
awesome.
something else in there.
Coffee and
Well,
bacon.
you know.
Yeah.
Whatever happens at Glowworm.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty incredible. It's all new books, though, I assume, right? Not used books, or do
All
y'all
new
have?
books.
Yeah, and that's what we do. Have a lot of people that they'll kind of clean their books out and donate them. And I was like, oh, we can take these. And Lauren, the teacher, she's like, we can't do that unless we go through every page.
Well,
And
because you never know. I mean, kids these days, you
Mhm.
never know what they're drawing
On
or
there.
writing
Yep.
on
That's
those
a good
pages.
point. I never
And I
thought
don't
about
want
that.
our name linked to
Yeah.
some drawing.
In
Well, and
today's
kind of like
world,
the
you never
coat
know.
thing too. I mean, to these kids, that's something new that they're getting, and they're gonna,
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, we did a lot of coats, and that's what Yates was saying when we do this. It needs to be new coats because these kids get hand-me-down stuff all the
they
time.
don't have anything new that belongs to them except those coats. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is great. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
but
That's a good
with
point.
the books, they get those new books.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
We just did an LMPD event, their Easter egg hunt in Highview. And I mean, we probably gave out
we were about 2,000 books.
2,000
gosh.
books.
You just keep a couple
I mean,
grand,
what's a-
couple thousand books
was
on
gonna say,
hand.
We do.
But, like,
And
what's
our
a-
garage is like stockpiled.
oh my gosh! But what's the average like little book cost nowadays? I mean, I know when I'm going to buy a book, it's $10 to $20 at
You read?
least. Yes, thank you. I do read, and I do still prefer a paperback. I don't like the
Hardbacks.
Kindle. Yeah,
Through the Scholastic the book fair, they get to about $8,
$8
and then there's
piece.
another part of Scholastic that we help support Norton Children's Reach Out and Read program, which is really cool. Program.
Yeah.
But
So, like,
they introduced us to another leg of Scholastic, where as long as you're a 501c3, you can go and purchase books at a
discounted rate.
much reduced rate. So that's how we're doing it with our book fairs going forward. But the Reach Out and Read, it's a lot like Dolly Parton.
Mhm.
It's from birth to 5 when they go to those
Wellness visits.
and even if the kids that are in the hospital, we saw Heavenly.
Yeah.
We did at the
Gala.
even kids that are in just that are in the hospital that are sick, but even at the wellness visits downtown, the doctor reads the book to them, and then also talks to the parent or caregiver about how important it is for them to read to their kids.
And I think that's so important for the parent to hear it from a doctor.
Mhm.
I mean, because us teachers harp on that all the time. But
Right.
when a doctor is telling you, like, hey, you need to be reading to your kid,
Oh, yeah.
parent is
Yeah.
going to probably take that in more than a teacher saying,
We-
hey, you should be reading to
We
your kid.
read to them even before they were born. Apparently, they can hear
Yeah.
inside the womb. And
Poor kids. Sorry.
I know, right? Sorry what I've been saying.
Laney not getting
I
any books.
know.
But that was one, to where I guess if we ever do have like a PSA part of the foundation, that's going to be it. Just the importance of that. I mean, and it's the reading part of it, yes. But at night, whenever we'd go in and read,
We
especially
didn't
me,
take our phones in there.
that was that undivided attention that the kids got from us, and
Yeah.
the time
Yeah.
that you got with them was priceless. And
Yeah.
I'd have some late nights every now and then, and I'd come in late, and Lauren look at me, she goes, "Somebody's waiting for you."
Oh,
Now I know part of it was that Addie
Didn't
she
wanna
had
go to
stay
bed.
up- stay
Sure.
up later. But if she ever asked Addie, "Can we read one more book?" The answer was always yes.
And I feel like we didn't get to that stage with our kids, but you want them to be able to like talk to you and tell you things. And I
Yeah.
think like even that night when we read to them, Addie or Baylor, they would be like, "Oh, today at school, so and so got in trouble." Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I would have wanted that as they grew up to continue to be able to say, like, hey, this happened today, or, just that importance of keeping that line of communication open.
It builds confidence in them. They can trust you. Our kids tell us everything, stuff I would have never told my parents, to be honest. But we did the same. We read to them a lot, but usually our routine when they were little is I would put the two girls to bed. They would lay on each side and I would tell them a story, and I would make up some ridiculous story about the three little pigs, or I would make up some ridiculous thing about Little Red Riding, I mean, and I would change it up, and I got so tired of trying to come up with a different way. But anyway, they remember that.
Absolutely.
They remember that. Addie, Jenny would go in and read to Graham, and I would take the girls. But yeah, it's a priceless moment.
How do you get the kids off of the same book every night?
You can't sometimes. Can't. You know how many times I read Snuggle Puppy?
I know. Like,
that'll be the one she reads first because she's memorized the words.
Yeah.
I even remember when Addie, when she was just learning to read, she'd have that book, she'd open it up, and she would just she couldn't read, but she'd tell you a story about it. And I said something to Lauren, I'm like, is that okay that she, again, not being creative?
Using her imagination. And
that's great. That's her imagination and storytelling. Because she'd sit, and Poppy started doing that. Poppy's talking more and more. She'll do that. She'll have a book, and she's just kind of describing the picture.
I actually thought my kid could read the other day because she was saying exactly what was happening, and I was like, what is going on? Because
you start thinking they do.
I know.
Yeah, but
we read, I don't know how many times I've read Snuggle Puppy. Good night,
going
Moon.
Bananas for bananas.
There was what is it?
Going bananas for bananas or something like that. It's a
monkey book.
Monkey, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was another one with a rabbit. I can't remember. I don't remember what it was. There's a rabbit on the front of the book.
Poppy likes the books with the flaps.
So Poppy, who's Poppy? Nobody knows who Poppy is. I do, but
Poppy's our 2-year-old.
Like a local celebrity. Everybody seems to know who Poppy is.
Poppy is our 2-year-old, and us being older parents, Poppy's
older. You don't know what old is.
Poppy is Poppy.
Poppy's kind of the mascot's not the right word.
Everybody knows who Poppy is.
It's amazing. I have people come up to me and somebody that I don't know.
And they'll be like, where's Poppy?
They'll say, well, where's Poppy or how's Poppy? Or I saw a picture of Poppy. I'm like, I'm sorry. Who are you? And how do you know? I'm like, on Facebook and I found this or that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Well, her name is so cute.
There's more people that follow you all than you would probably imagine. I'd have the same thing. People come up to me, hey, Graham did great on stage the other night.
We saw Addie prom picture.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And also, we still get the, once, you'll talk to somebody and you'll explain, the question comes up, do you have kids? And like, yes. And you always get, oh, that's you?
Oh, gosh.
And you're like, yep, that's us.
And that's always a hard question because I don't ever want the person asking to feel bad. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and they always do. And I hate that for them. So that's always a tough question for us.
But it'll always answer. Yeah. I mean, yes. Yeah.
Well,
we have Poppy. Yes. We have 2 kids, and somebody asks, I have 3 children.
Yeah. We say this all the time because people just don't know what to say.
Right.
They don't.
And a lot of times the things you say end up being kind of awkward. So you don't really try to take it personal, even though it probably brings back. But people just don't know what to say.
They don't.
And I never take offense to what anyone says, even if it was someone came up to me. This was probably a few months after everything happened. And said to me, "Oh, they're in a better place."
I remember that. For whatever reason, I remember something about that. Yeah,
and I'm like,
"No, they're not."
I'll argue with you on that one.
Yeah,
and they were like, "Oh my God, that's not how I mean." I go, "I understand. You're right."
They just don't know what to say.
They don't, and they still the last couple of years, it's happened less and less, but. Not too long after everything, you'd have people. I'd walk up to people, and you could see it on their face, like. What do I say? You can just see it on their face. And that's when, you generally, I would try and say something first or try to say
that happened to me. I was teaching 5th grade. And so when I went back into the classroom, you could tell, like, the kids were totally different. And so I had to say, it's okay that we talk about it. Like, this is what happened. I knew that they knew what had happened, but just giving them that open door that, like, you can ask me.
Did you teach at the same school where they went? Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
What school?
Audubon.
Are you still teaching at all?
I'm at St. Andrews on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
She kind of tutors now.
I tutor there on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
I still don't see how she ever went back to, because until we had Poppy, it was hard for me to be around kids.
I bet.
Because you look at every kid, and even, the kids' friends, which especially Addie's friends and Baylor's too. But now to see them grow up,
Yeah.
and you just, I love seeing them, but it's like,
gosh, they would be that big. You know,
you
like,
always think, well, how tall would Addie be? How would Baylor be? Would Baylor still be, hard-headed,
yeah,
determined, and
So Poppy's completely different than those two.
Poppy's completely different because we're little
older
lax.
parents, and things are different. But no,
Yeah.
Poppy is
Poppy needs some discipline at home.
Poppy's a combination of the two. Because,
Okay.
I mean, there are pictures that I will look back, and I don't get on social media now because you get on Facebook and you have those memories.
Yeah.
So I try to kind of stay off that, but I'll have something that I might see something, and I'm like, oh, that's Poppy, and I'm like, no,
that's Addie.
Oh,
They
wow.
They look a lot.
alike.
Really?
And then her personality is a very combination of the two. Big
I
personality.
just always thought that was crazy because I know y'all said you're more relaxed, but you're still raising her the same way. So it's for all three of them to have different
Trying to raise her
personalities.
the same
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
As Lauren,
Well, after what happened, you probably get a little more lax. You think, what? After I went through, who cares? Just let them do whatever.
yes and no, because there's also things to where.
We can talk about this situation that's coming up.
Oh yes.
So we have a babysitter. We don't use her often because my mom keeps her alive.
Mhm.
But we love this babysitter, and she's keeping her on Thurby for us. And she's a senior at Holy Cross.
I don't know who she is.
Yes, and
Good
she
kid.
wanted to know if she could
Yeah.
drive Poppy. And I was like, oh.
I guess there's something at Notre Dame.
They're having like a school chow wagon, and her sister teaches there, and she's like, I want to take Poppy. Can I drive her? And I was like, oh no. And we trust her, and like,
Oh, yeah.
so, like I talked to her mom, and she was like, if you would feel better, like I'll come drive. And I'm like, no, you don't need to come drive
Yeah.
Poppy. Like,
I get it, but that girl you're talking about is one of the most responsible kids in the world. But you just never know what could happen,
But it's more
it's
of
everybody else.
Right. It's
I
not
get
her.
it, yeah.
I'm not going to, well, I'm not even going to tell you. Never mind.
But and I don't think with the kids, if we'd have thought about it, we'd have said, oh yeah, no
Sure,
big deal,
just
go.
go.
But now with everything, I just explained to one of our aunts at a wedding this weekend was our perception of everything is just so much different.
Yeah.
Our
It's
thought
like that
process of
never
everything.
could happen. Well, it did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like no one would ever have
I think
thought.
I'd always think worst case scenario.
Yeah,
Always.
but you never even people always say, well, there's a small percentage chance that happens.
And we're
like,
like, well, that did happen.
It did happen. I mean, what are the odds of happening to us happen? And it did. So that's to where, even with Poppy was, we did IVF, and Poppy was a mosaic egg. She was our last one. And
Wow.
the odds of her being here were small.
Mhm.
And we were like, well, we
We don't have anything to lose.
small percentage things happen.
There's a reason, I guess, yeah.
And,
Wow.
it
that's
happened here with
cool.
Poppy. So,
Oh.
So
Yeah.
where did the name Poppy come from?
That was my grandfather's name. We called him Poppy, and he passed away right before I had Poppy. So we were able to tell him, oh, we're going to name Poppy after you.
Oh,
I bet he
love
was
that.
So, yeah, he did.
we're big on family names. That
We are.
Do you have a name for the new one yet? Or are you announcing it?
Not
We don't yet.
No?
No. I have 3 cousins that we're all due around the same time. And so everyone's kind of like going after those family names. And these are all their first. So I'm like, you all pick
Right.
first. Let me know the name of your.
It's nice of you.
Yeah, I'm like, you.
Well, I never had a boy name ever. So
Boys'
luckily
names
this
are
is a
hard.
second girl because we were SOL.
Yeah.
Do you have a say in it?
I do. The first 2 were named.
I had no say. I would
did.
throw a few names out, and
Well, Addie was my grandmother, and I was very, very close to my
there
grandmother.
wasn't many Addies.
Addie is
not.
Addie, though. It's
Addie
not
was-
Addison.
It's Addie.
Addie, and
Yeah.
that we always had people come and say, is she Addison? I said,
Right.
her name is Addie.
And then Baylor was his mother's maiden name.
I like Baylor,
And that
too.
was actually her idea to do that.
Yeah, that's
Well, our kids, I don't know where we came up with Caden, but Addison, our Addison, we call her Addie. Addison was because of Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Addison, what was her? Yeah, the
doctor.
doctor. We
Yeah.
loved Addison. Gray was her not
Addison,
Gray?
No, that was.
McDreamy's wife. Yeah,
Shepherd, wasn't it?
yeah, Shepherd.
Was it
Maybe.
she?
Look
Yeah.
at you! I started watching that series
The
again
redhead,
last night
right?
for some reason. I'm so tired of the
Still,
political
yeah.
bullshit
It's been
that
going
goes
on
on
for
in the
22
world.
years, so it's hard to remember it.
Glad I'm not the only one. I don't
I'm
watch them.
sick of it.
Watch Lauren gets on.
I got really into a couple series that I love. About season 3, they started the political BS, and I was like, can we not sit down and be entertained without not having something in our face?
What do you go back to your Sanford and Sons?
I did. Sanford and Sons, one of my favorite. Gilligan's Island, Love Boat. But yeah,
I don't feel too bad. You're a little further back than me. Mine's Married with Children, Seinfeld, Family Guy.
Those are my mom's. Yeah.
I used to watch Married with Children with my dad, and I'm like, what?
One of the funniest shows ever.
It's great.
I was like, some of it is so inappropriate.
Yeah.
It wasn't back then, though. People had a sense of humor.
Yes, exactly. People knew that you were joking. There's no malice behind what you were saying.
You're a big Family Guy person.
I love Family Guy.
Yeah, he's
Family Guy is
funny.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
I like to laugh. These things of being serious and when they get political.
I feel like that's what TV's supposed to be, though. You're supposed to be able to sit down and just laugh and like just forget your day. And
but every show anymore seems like it's got some sort of political connotation, and it just gets. Oh yeah, it's like, I get it. They can have their opinions, but I just want to watch a basketball game,
Absolutely.
And not have. That's right. So, but
you don't want to hear about why Deion Sanders' son didn't get picked until the
No, I thought it was hilarious.
That's been the talk of the weekend.
But not to go that route, but he wasn't picked because of his attitude. The coaches that said, look, he's just not a good team player. He blames everybody for everything. Nobody wants that on their team.
No.
So anyway, that's my political.
Nobody wants
that. I'm sure he's a great player, but nobody wants somebody that's going to blame everybody else for everything. So
there's enough people like that in this world.
Yeah. So what do y'all have coming up? I know you do a golf scramble, 2 golf scrambles. What all do y'all have going on now?
We have our golf outing coming up over at our golf course over at Elk Run on May 16th. So we've been lucky enough. We partnered with Kent Taylor. He's helping us out with a little bit on that. If anybody wants to sign up, then go.
Kent Taylor.
Sounds like
broadcaster WLPY.
I was thinking Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse.
I know. I was like,
Ken Taylor. Yeah, he's not around him, but I thought maybe Roadhouse was sponsoring you.
No. It's Kent. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's been great. And we're almost full. So if anybody wants to sign up, just go to our website, addiebaylorfoundation.com.
Yeah.
And
don't listen, Drew.
Drew, we have a spot.
Sign up, Drew. They'll bring the riffraff out. You don't want all them.
Goodness.
But and then we have a golf outing down in Panama City. It'll be the Monday before Halloween, I guess 28th.
Oh, cool.
And then we have our biggest fundraiser of the year, which is our gala, which will be November 16th.
Yep.
And
that's at Melwood.
Yeah, it's at Melwood Arts Center, and that's become our best event. It's so much fun.
It was fun.
Everything that you guys have done for us. And
absolutely.
Last year, we thank you.
Made it us our biggest year.
Was that the year that you just kept donating money?
I
think so too.
Don't prime me with bourbon because you don't know.
I know.
And that's what I always tell people. Our silent auction, it even rolls over into our live auction. If you're a bourbon lover or a golf lover, our auction is for you.
Yes, it is.
That was fun though.
Yeah, it's a great night. It's grown so much, and Brent that puts it on for us. Brent does the Barnstable Brown, puts it on, and
see, you are well connected.
We are
just a good friend of ours, and
golf, and then just people I've grown up around. Yeah, we were fortunate to have a lot of good friends.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
It does, and
Shirley was my bus driver.
Really?
At St. Paul's.
Yeah. I don't think I knew that.
She drove bus 3.
Yeah.
We had bus 1, 2, and 3.
My aunt drove there too. Annie.
Wow.
Annie. I don't know if you remember Annie Mattingly. Little bitty thing. She's real short.
What a small world. We used to quiz her. Okay, this is how times have changed because now kids, I don't know what they do on the bus, but they definitely didn't do what we did on the bus. We had this is so weird. We had this dictionary and it had all the presidents listed in the back. And we would quiz her on the presidents. We'd be like, who was the 17th
Who, my
president?
mom?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Did she get any of them right?
I mean, I think so. And then she ended up being like, okay,
my mom didn't read.
Go back to your seats because she was probably sick of us like sitting right behind her saying, who was the 19th president? Who was the...
She probably enjoyed that better than what goes on the buses now.
I was going to say, yeah.
True.
Yeah, fights and smoking weed and everything.
Yeah, they're not quizzing people on the presidents. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's funny. I didn't know that.
I don't even know last time I've seen a dictionary, to be honest. I swear.
You ever seen a phone book?
Yes, I have.
You really?
I actually should sit on them.
She's very young.
No, it's
How about a VCR?
Yes. I'm trying to remember. Goodness.
Well, truly amazing. I just, my heart goes out with what happened. I don't know. I'm sure when it happened, you were standing there like, did this really happen? I mean, how in the world? But
yeah, it was.
So what's the website?
AddieandBaylorFoundation.com. And we're on all social media at A&B Foundation.
A&B Foundation. I don't know what that means.
Addie and Baylor.
Oh, I was thinking like a special foundation name or something.
Well, originally, 'cause we had when we first got the name, it's like, okay, do we have Kirchgessner in the name? So it's Addie and Baylor Kirchgessner Foundation, and now recently, everybody knows Addie and Baylor. So like, okay, let's take the Kirchgessner
out of it. It's way too long.
It's easy to remember. Like the Leslie and Ryan, I usually just call it the Prather Foundation. So and we've always, before you did it, we just always said Addie and Baylor Foundation.
Yep,
so it makes a ton of difference.
Makes it so much easier.
Well, hopefully people go out and support, get signed up for the golf scramble,
volunteer at a book fair.
Book fair.
Very eye opening because teacher was never in the cards for me. So you all the teachers out there, and
thank you.
I just don't know how they do it.
I shouldn't say put up with, but what they do and how underpaid they are and under-supported that they are.
That's the big thing, is the under-support. Yeah. It's the lack of support, I feel like.
Because they make that, they're the ones, they make a huge, huge difference
they're
in
with
these kids' lives.
They're with the kids more, if not more than the parents.
When they're
every week
in these underfunded schools, sometimes they turn into be the parent, the role model.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Kids.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got stories for days when Jenny was a teacher.
Yeah,
and it's just crazy what but a lot of these kids in these public schools especially have a lot of trauma that
they
just don't know what they're dealing with, and they're hungry, and probably a book is the last thing on their mind. But I tell you, at an early age, and this is the reason why you did it. If you can get them learning and reading at an early age, it will change their life.
It does. Yeah.
Well, loved having you on. Hopefully people go out. We're going to help you buy $10,000 in books with this check here. So hopefully that'll help out.
That's awesome.
Kellye printed that for y'all came in.
Thank you
so hopefully that'll buy a few books this year.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And if there's anything we can do, we would love to partner, participate, help. As long as gaming doesn't go away, legislature, we keep the gaming in.
We are we want to say thank you for everything that you guys do, not only for us,
but for the
what
community.
You all do in this community.
It's crazy.
And the difference that you make, things that people don't know about. There's so many things that people don't know that you do.
But we don't ask for the publicity because, to me, it's the right thing to do. And people usually share what we do anyway, so that makes a difference. But, when we got heavily involved in gaming, we doubled down on it. It was never part of the plan. But we, like you had said, you all changed your mission a little bit. When the gaming money started to come in, we're like, what do we do with this?
All of our cancer patients are taken care of. And,
we could have said, all right, bonuses for everybody. But we didn't do that. We said, all right, what else can we do to help the community?
Awesome.
So it's a weird position to be in.
Honestly. when you can just throw $10,000
I know, I didn't even think about it.
It's great that you all do the right thing with it. Because trust me, I know there's other people that may have things and do the wrong thing with it or do things for themselves, and you all don't.
You
make a difference in this community, and this community is very fortunate to have you all doing it.
We appreciate that. Yeah. People think I'm a multimillionaire, that I got $1 million property in Florida. I wish I knew where it was.
I know. I'm like, man.
Actually, we we got a critter or something at the lake. We got a small place at Rough River. Somebody said I've got a mansion on Rough River. We don't. So the people that came down, they said, "Aren't you Shirley's way?" I said, "Yeah." I said, I've seen posts where you have this mansion at Rough River.
Oh, they
I
were
said,
disappointed?
Yeah, here's my trailer. Here's the mansion.
They were disappointed in it.
Yeah. This in the mansion. I said, please tell the rest of the world that.
This is
And for as much as that as you get the negative, that's why people need to tell you thank you. And I know that's not why you're doing it. It's not why we do it.
Yeah.
But it's nice to hear that because you all do make a huge difference.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we enjoy it. It's fun to be able to support, and we only support things that we call boots on the ground.
I was going to say that.
We support people that are truly making a difference, and so obviously that's why we wanted to support you today.
Thank you. That's awesome.
And we'll talk about maybe helping sponsor the gala this year or something.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
One thing I did forget about.
Oh, what?
Our book drive.
Oh yeah. The book drive.
We do a book drive. We do an Amazon book drive. It starts on Addie's birthday, May 23rd, and ends on Baylor's birthday, June 13th. And all those books, we along with others, is what goes to the Norton Children's Reach Out and Read program.
Okay.
Yeah. So and it's easy. Parents just hop on. It's an Amazon link, and they can pick out whatever book they want to donate.
Okay.
It's easy.
And that's on your website too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll push that out through all.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll push that out.
We'll support that as well.
I think you did last year.
On their birthdays, I think.
Last year was Addie's 10th birthday, and you were nice enough to.
That was awesome.
give us $10,000
Yeah.
there, and then
Wow.
did it
For Baylor.
Yeah, May 23rd and June 13th. I think I have it on my list.
Mhm.
Now, Matt knows their birthdays, but doesn't know mine because every time I fly, he doesn't have my birthday right. So I get all the way through security, and they're like, "Who booked your flight?"
No
And I'm
way.
like, my husband. And they're like, "He doesn't know your birthday. Go all the way back to the check-in counter."
He threw you under the bus.
You did. I did do it one time. I did September 21st.
And then
27th.
it's every time now because it must be saved in like our, I don't know.
That's hilarious.
So he knows the kid's birthday, but not mine.
Oh my goodness.
I use this tool called Evernote, and I
There you
put
go.
all these little
Mike
notes
actually
in there.
wished me a happy birthday a full month in advance.
I did.
So.
You say that you're old, but at least I'm old, but I'm an even older soul.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't for Google Tasks, I wouldn't know where I'm supposed to be. It's a Google Task Manager that ties into your calendar. So
Nice. Yes, you do.
Yeah, my birthday's January 28th, and he texted me December 28th. Said, happy birthday. And I was like, thank you. You're a whole month early, but you're the first one.
I put things in advance so I don't forget, and then I add it on the day of. So.
You know,
Yeah,
it
whatever.
was the thought that counted.
Hey, I was close.
There you go.
It was funny.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Thank you all for
Thank
coming
you,
in
guys.
today. AddieandBaylor.com.org. Again, say it one more time.
Addie and Baylor Foundation.com.
.com. Get out
You
there.
just put Addie and Baylor in Google, it will come up.
Yep.
Yeah. Two of the most unfortunately popular kids in the city. So, and Poppy's celebrity.
Well,
She's a little bigger. We just got a new, I'll show it to you, a mascot.
Oh, yeah.
We'll put her in it.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
That'd be
She'd
fun.
have fun.
God.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming in. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.